Hey, welcome family back to another episode of Real Talking Real Estate. Of course, I'm your man, the Money Man Smith, in the building with me as well. K-Dub's finest. We have the philosopher and the closer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's the
yes,
deal?
Sir.
I don't know what name
What's the
he
deal?
going by today.
The Rick James of real estate sound really fly on.
Man, the Rick James sounded
Hey,
good.
loving that
Hey,
Rick
we
James,
gonna peg that Rick James.
Hey, but for real though, go back and you need to listen to the on one of the first show he did when he said the Rick James of real estate. It rolled off the tongue really well, man.
Really, it sounded good, didn't it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, it sounded good.
You the freak of real estate, dog.
Wow. Y'all crazy.
Freak
Y'all
of real
crazy.
estate.
You want to sell your house? Bring it over here. I'll freak it out.
Freak it out. Freak the whole transaction out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I promise you're gonna enjoy every moment of it, and when we get done, it'll be something like you've never seen before. That's it right there for you, man.
Except, you know what I'm saying, this Rick James might respect your couch. he might respect your couch. You know what I'm saying? All right, we here for another episode. You know what I'm saying? To topic
Hey.
today. What you got?
Hold up. See right there, when we hook up the sound effects machine, right, we can have the Rick James song, have a snippet of Rick James hit right there.
In the background.
Right there. Just come in right there. See, that's what we hit the FX machine.
Wow.
And when we crack those type of jokes, it just, you just hit the button, boom, and everything. He's a very freaking girl.
Wow. See what I mean?
Hey, man.
Hey, I love it.
Y'all
Hey,
so crazy.
Rick James real estate, man. I'm telling you, it does. What is that? No, I ain't probably. But anyway, all right. So we here to talk about the topic we talking about today is controlling clients. It's not necessarily a
You
series.
said controlling clients.
Controlling
Controlling
clients, man.
clients.
You know, people you're in the real estate game, or you may be a client yourself. It's finding the happy balance of actually giving advice, you know what I'm saying, trying to guide you, and then clients wanting to do just whatever the hell they want to do. Just because
Yeah.
they always know better than the professional anyway, right? So we here to kind of talk about it. We can put it on the front shelf, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we got they got to learn the hard way. You know, kind of like teenagers, kind of like kids, you know what I'm saying? You tell them not to touch the stove, they got to touch the stove anyway. Because, you know what I'm saying, they got to be burned. They got to learn from themselves firsthand, not that, okay, I see what you were saying now, Mom. I see what you were saying. I shouldn't touch that stove, you know what I'm saying? I burned it. I'm scarred for life. I'll never touch another hot stove. Clients are sometimes like that. But, you know, it is what it is. What is your thoughts? And I'll toss this over to philosopher. You know what I'm saying? What is your thoughts on a real estate agent or a real estate professional in general being able to control the clients, which possibly, you know, that term right there, you know what I'm saying, kind of has a negative connotation about it. But let's just say guide. What is your thoughts as far as a real estate professional trying to guide their client through the process?
Reason why the name of the show is Controlling the Client is to create that narrative of, is it a negative thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something that you as a consumer do you have to be aware of? Honestly, no, because the way the topic came about to me was I was checking out a young man by the name of Danny Morrell, which is the owner of Ontario Real Estate back out there in California. And he was up doing a meeting with his folks, and he named it Controlling Client Control. That's what he called it, Client Control. So I just switched it around a little bit. And his discussion was the reason why the client gets control of the transaction is because the agent, 90% of the time, just needs the money, doesn't want to lose the deal because he's allowing them to facilitate it the way they think it should go. And he used the two analogies was, all right, when you go to an attorney, the attorney takes control because you have came to him as a professional saying, look, I understand what needs to be done based on your situation to allow you to be successful, to get you out of whatever situation that you may have got yourself in, right? When you go to the doctor, because you don't know how to fix yourself, but the doctor does. So the doctor has control over what's going to happen, whether you need surgery, prescriptions, or therapeutic medicines, or therapy, period. They have control of what needs to happen to get you back healthy or feeling better to a degree. This same analogy applies for us in our business. For too many times and too often, we hear how the client is dictating what needs to happen in the transaction. I get the fact that you want to keep your client apart and understanding, letting them know, okay, this is what we do, this is how you do it, and you want them to feel comfortable getting the feedback and trying to maneuver through the deal accordingly. At the end of the day, the client should not be telling an agent how this deal or the transaction should go, because you are the professional. You went to class, you got the education, you passed the test, you have been trained. Now we're gonna put the quotes around trained there, because we all know everybody's not adequately trained, or everybody has not received the training adequately enough to be able to do what needs to be done. And so there is that margin, a gray area that some folks work in, because they're just not aware of how to do the business at the level that they want to do. But at the end of the day, we as agents are responsible for guiding the client through the process. And at the end, when they have a situation or they want to get feedback, that's when it happened. I firmly believe while we're in the middle of the deal, if you got a question for me, yes, of course I'm going to answer it, but I'm going to let you know, okay, A, B, C is how it works. Not A, then I want to do it how I want to do it. Then we come back to C to see if that works. If that makes sense?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, to go to your point, and I just throw this out here because you know what I'm saying, this is very recent. This is a recent conversation that I was having with someone. When you go to the doctor is supposed to control the situation. They're supposed to control what's going on. But sometimes people feel like they know more than the doctor. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying, the doctor won't put me on all these prescription medicines and all this other stuff. They don't want to talk about the side effects. I'm going to go on the organic. And I'm gonna go take this what do they call it?
Holistic.
This natural treatment in order to kind of heal myself. I know what I got. Google said I have this. So this is how I'm going to treat it because the doctor, because
that WebMD.
Yeah, because the doctor just want to write me up another prescription. He gonna have me like a damn like a vegetable out here. I ain't gonna be able to function. So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it depends on the client and their mindset, because sometimes they just can't be controlled in a process, regardless of who you are or what your professional expertise is. What you think? Closer?
Rick!
Well, if I was to think of it from a closer standpoint, I control all my clients. No.
This is a dictatorship right
here.
No.
The funny part about it is when you think about it from a client standpoint, you got to first understand and gauge where that client is, right? Because you do have some clients that are aware. They've been through this process multiple times, and they have a good idea of where and what they should be doing, right?
Right.
And at that point, I'm a consultant just like anything else. You know what I mean? I'm like someone that's maybe trying to help you fix your diet. A nutritionist. What I'm saying, well, this is what you should be eating, you know what I mean, versus not. But then those usually aren't the people that you have this issue that you're talking about with. Mostly you have these issues with the people that are newer to real estate. And they think they know based off of the internet what's happening.
Right.
And so the problem, I think, is at least from my point of view, is still putting it in perspective. I still got to come in and put the perspective in for them and say, hey, look, this is A, B, like my man said, A, B, C, D, and this is the process we're going to go through. And in all honesty, if they can't go through my process, they probably not going to be my client. That's not a negative standpoint. That's just, I know how this works. I do this every single day. Like every day I do this. You doing this once every 7 years or every 10 years. So I'm up to date with what's changed, what's happened, how technology has affected it, what the new rules are, all these things that come into play. Let me do my job and you do your job, which is let's find the right house, let's find the mortgage, let's do the stuff that we need to do to close the deal and get it done.
I think when it boils down to it, as a professional, when you're doing something on a daily basis, you start to see some kind of consistency, right? So you know what I'm saying? You start to know exactly what you can get away with and what you can't. And then you know what I'm saying? And to the closer's point, when you're talking about somebody that's brand spanking new, it's a good thing because they want to soak up everything that you said, but it's a bad thing because they want to soak up what everybody says, right?
Yeah.
So they want to listen to the coworker that had their experience.
And
you
I
know
think
what I mean?
that's the hard part about it is because everybody has their own experience. I say it all the time. I say, no matter where you are in the process, you can listen to them for a minute. You know, if you're having a conversation and you kind of dipped into their experience, you can listen to that point. But at the end of the day, they might not experience the same thing you're experiencing. Because one, y'all credit ain't the same.
Right.
You ain't
Right.
got the same amount of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might be getting a grant. They might not. You might be buying a house that's twice as big as their house because you got kids and family and they don't. You know what I mean? You buying in this part of town, they buying in that part of town. You know, there's some similarities, but there's quite a few differences that we got to account for that they don't understand sometimes that we got to account for. you
Right.
know?
And they don't necessarily they don't necessarily see it. All they know is just part of the story that
Yeah.
they're given. They're
Yeah.
not given the whole story, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes a crazy thing where you're trying to educate somebody that
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying already has this preconceived notion just because of what they've been told by somebody
Yeah.
else, right? So when it comes to somebody that's stubborn, right? Somebody that just knows, absolutely just knows more than you do. Man, I got Google. I've been searching all night. I done read about 10, 15 articles. You know what I'm saying? I know everything there is to know about real estate. And that stubborn person that feels like they know better, they know the better situation for them than you know, right? How do you deal with that person? Like, how do you get them out of this stubbornness to see the forest for the trees, so to speak, for lack of a better term? Philosopher, how do you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? How do you get somebody out of their own way?
I'm gonna use what the closer like to use. I'm gonna ask them questions, and I'm gonna use a follow-up question. And why, if they're in the forest from the trees, I hope I'm using your analogy right. We're looking for a specific oak tree amongst the pines, right? And so the oak tree will represent the house amongst all the other houses in the market, which the oak tree represents the house that they want, they need, and they desire. What we have to do to get all that influence out of them from the research all night is, okay, tell me about what you said. Because when anytime you put in work like that, and that goes for anybody, when you put in the time, the effort to understand, to find out, to get clarity on something, you want to know if that's right, and you want somebody to hear what you got to say. So my best thing to do when I run across that type of person is I listen to them, and I try to validate some of the stuff they say. So in some of those internet articles, some of them is accurate. We've talked about once before based on the macro versus the micro here in where we are in Houston versus what it is on a national stage. Those articles are based on a national stage, so we'll bring it back to say, yeah, that's accurate nationally, but we're looking for something here in Houston, and we're gonna get even closer, even smaller. We're looking for something here in Spring or in Humble, wherever place you may be. So those things are valid nationally, but where you want to stay, they're not truly accurate. If at your price point, if your price point is, if you're looking to buy under 160, 170, the rascals going in 2 or 3 weeks. So we don't have time to dilly-dally. We need to be precise and have a clear understanding. All right, this is what you want. We're going to look at the major items: roof, AC, foundation, plumbing, electrical. If those things are in great shape, okay, we got a good deal. Flooring and paint, things like that, are secondary. If the flooring is great, you can always paint because you're going to want different colors anyway. So we want to take it to that regard as keeping the folks, validating what they've read, hearing them out first, and then try to validate what they've read about, reassuring them, okay, look, I understand where you're coming from, but pertaining to what we're trying to do and where you want to be, we got to stay here, and this is what's going on right here, and then provide them information saying, like, this is what the market is saying for you, how much you make, how much you've been approved for, what you want, and what you need. And so that's how you kind of deviate, or not gonna say deviate, but kind of navigate those waters.
Sound like somebody been talking to some, you know what I'm saying, some counseling, you know what I'm saying, type stuff, you know what I'm saying, because that's what they tell you about. You got to validate that person's perspective to let you know that you heard them.
Hey, that has got
And then you got to twist it around.
but that has got me out of a lot of them 7 p.m. phone calls. Ain't that right? Them 7 p.m. phone calls, you be like, dang.
Yeah.
You look at the phone. Oh shoot. Let me see. All right. Take a deep breath and okay, let's go after.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, pour you some cognac, something
Right.
like that, you know what I'm saying, and
Take
then
a
go
deep
at
breath.
it. Go at it. So then let's talk to the Rick James of real estate. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to figure out how do you freak this thing when you have a stubborn client that just believes that they raised the right way. How do you address it?
Well, I gotta
Raise
let
the
them
right
do
way,
what
huh?
they. Look. I gotta let them do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I just gotta
we got
manage
him to do
it.
what they
I
do.
gotta manage it from it's kind of like managing a football game. I gotta manage it and make sure that we still kind of moving forward. Because some people you just can't change. And the reality of it, let's put it in perspective. It's their money. So if they want to go the long route and spend, for 4 different inspections and, 2 appraisals and do, I can't stop them from doing that. Even though I can consult them and I'll say, those are the people that I'm a little more blunt and honest with in regards to, and more of the blunt side of it, where it's really, this is what it is, because that's what they want to a degree too, is they want somebody to say, okay, oh, that color's black. It's black. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, again, a lot of times I find this in the 2 different extremes. Either they've done this a million times over and they just know what they know. And usually we can work through that process because from a cordial standpoint, I know you know what you're talking about, and I know what I'm talking about. And so we can work through our goal at the end of the day is to get to closing.
Yep.
The issue is when you have people that don't necessarily know because they haven't been through the process, or they're listening to what outside factors are telling them, their cousins and their friends, and they expect their experience to be exactly like their cousins or their friends' experience. And whether their friends or cousins' experience was good or bad, right? Your experience is going to be your experience, and if you let me guide you, I'll make your experience easier. I'll make your experience enjoyable, but you got to give me the trust and confidence. So that so a lot of times that's where we have to go digging back into is I got to ask questions of why don't you trust me enough to listen to what my consultation is.
Right.
It's like it's like if I was Kevin Durant and I was with the Golden State Warriors again, and I'm asking them because I done injured my leg if I should go back out and play. There's something in, if you think about it, when he first went out there, he obviously trusted them, right? And he just went out there and played.
Yeah.
They didn't have his best interests in mind. And that opens up a whole nother can of worms,
Shot
as you
fired
can
right there.
tell.
Pow!
But, when you're working with people like us, me, myself, and the money man and my guy over here, the philosopher, we have fiduciary duties. Like trust and value and integrity and character, those all play a role in what we do from a day-to-day basis. So then it comes back down to that very thing I said earlier is if you don't trust me and my fiduciary duties and what I'm doing, then we probably shouldn't be working together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between me and a green pea out there or somebody that's new to the game is a lot of times they'll take that deal and they'll work through all those problems and have all those issues happen, and next thing you know, it didn't close away and there's problems afterwards. Whereas I'm probably going to cut it off after the second or third conversation.
Right.
And wait for the phone call later. because I usually get that phone call a week or two later. Walter, you're right. What do we need to do? You know, but again, it goes back to what we said. That's why we do what we do. We professionals in what we do. Like, I couldn't do my job unless I knew what I was doing every single day, unless I was managing it every day, unless I was educating myself every day. So really, your job as the client is to put your trust in me that I'm going to guide. I'm going to bring the resources to you. You still make the decision at the end of the day because it's your money.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you don't trust me, then you probably don't want to work with me.
I think that's the biggest thing that the reason why you don't listen to somebody is because you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Right? You don't trust that they have the knowledge that you do, or they don't have the knowledge to guide you in the right direction to get the right result. And then it becomes a psychological thing why they don't actually trust them. Like, why would they hire you if they didn't actually absolutely trust you? Like, why would they hire you, you know what I'm saying, that they want to go back and forth with you about what you're advising them to do?
Well, and I think some of that, too, is clarity. You know, they don't have clarity in what they want. So because they don't have clarity in what they want,
right,
they listening to like you said earlier, they listening to 5 or 6 opinions of what happened to 5 or 6 different people. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, like I know. I mean, we can all sit there and order a meal from a restaurant, and each one of us would probably like that meal a little bit different. You might put a little salt on yours. I might put pepper on mine. Hyman might put hot sauce on his. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna put a little bit of a different, but we like the meal. You know what I mean? We like that we ordered sesame chicken, you know what I mean, or whatever it was.
You just like it differently.
We just like it a little bit different. And that's what happens in real estate. What happens in real estate is everybody likes buying houses. Everybody likes selling houses. But everybody doesn't like the same house per se, or the same things that they want in a house is not the same reasons why they're buying a house is not the same. So there's so many variables that you playing with that if you listening to 5 or 6 other people, they just telling you based off their perspective and their variables. So now you confused, but you don't know you confused, okay? Because you saying, well, this is the similarities, and this is how it's supposed to go. And so then that's a lot of times what'll direct them not to listen to the professional instead of, you know, just saying, okay, what's our next step? I love the clients that ask me, what's our next step?
Right.
So what's our next step, Walter? Well, this is what we do next, A, B, C, D. And this, you could do this or you could do that. What would you prefer?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm going to put it back in their plate, you know?
And this is the thing, is that when a client comes to you, there's a difference between saying, hey, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with you because my coworker said X, Y, Z. Or actually posing a question like, hey, I'm concerned about this. What do you think about that? That's completely different, right? But when it comes to actual trust, again, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna toss this thing to the philosopher. Like, how do you get, at what point do you get where you like, hey, look, man, you know everything. You don't trust what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's best you just work with somebody else. When does it get to that point?
Ooh, boy. Now that's a hard one for me because my personality says that I have the ability to damn near get along with any and everybody because that's just who I am.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. That took a long time for me to get that within myself. You know, say, okay, well, you know what? You talk stupid, you talk crazy. But at the end of the day, since I know that about you, then I'm not gonna hold that against you. I'm not gonna try to say you trying to disrespect me or come at me sideways. Now, if you do it the first time, I'm gonna listen to what you got to say, and then I'm gonna handle it accordingly. Now, if you come at me again like that, then we're gonna have a talk about, okay, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? You ain't speaking to me accurately like how we supposed to. And then if they are, I'm gonna go ahead and say it how I want to say it. If they have enough intelligence, enough responsibility, and consideration enough, they'll explain themselves because that's happened. So once you explain yourself to them and say, okay, that's just how you are. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Prime example is Mark. Y'all know Mark. We did a show with Mark. Mark liked to cuss. And Mark liked to cuss you out. One day, Mark called me and cussed me out. I'm like, wait, hold up. Mark, what the hell is wrong, man? Oh, man, it was such and such. He was frustrated. But that's just how he talks. And I said, oh, okay, that's cool. And ever since then, he'll come and cuss me out for something. Man, you full of that bullshit, Lemon. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Such and such. Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I'm able to, once I notice how you speak, then I'm able to get past the fact that you just cussed me out and get to the situation. Like when we got a deal on one of our houses, Lemon, that was bullshit. I ain't paying for no home warranty. Okay, my bad. I forgot to tell you about the warranty part of the contract. That was on me. This is what this is. That's why I told you to read over it. And so we talked about it. It was cool. Even though he cussed me out that morning, that was fucked up too. It was Saturday morning when he called me about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you doing, man? You bullshit, man. You ain't telling me about such. I'm like, what you talking about, Mark? Goddamn home warranty. I don't want to pay no home warranty. So I looked at the contract and said, oh, okay, that's just customary. Home warranty is this, that, and the other. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. Now, anybody else, a Saturday morning, about 9 o'clock in the morning, you get cussed out by your people, you like, man, fuck you. Because I know Mark and I realize that's how he talks, I'm able to go, okay, that's cool. I don't focus on the fact that you cussed me out. I just focus on, okay, well, you want to talk about the home warranty, what happened, what is it about, what does this mean? All right, we discuss it. He understands it, we cool, we move forward. But that's just the best way I can give you an example of just how you got to understand just how people are. If you're dealing with, per se, a hood cats really don't understand how to really just talk that professional language. So sometimes you got to go back to where you come. If you're from the hood, like I'm from the hood. Yeah, man. What you want to do? Yeah, dog. So I'm saying all you got to do, you know what I'm saying, we're going to take $1,000 down here to the earnest money, which just simply means that you're serious about the deal. You know what I'm saying? People want to know you serious. If they don't know you serious, they not going to take the deal. Versus if I'm talking to a cat, if I'm talking to per se a professional, like, okay, well, the earnest money simply means they want to make sure that you truly want to purchase the home, that you truly are invested in the property. So they want to see you go ahead and put the $1,000 or $1,500 earnest money to the title company. They're gonna hold it so no one else has it but them. You can see the difference in discussions when supposedly a professional versus one of the hood cats who I know. It's just their way of understanding, and you gotta understand them. They understand you, and you just go with that way with it. When those things come about, you're still in control. We never lose control of what we're doing. Now, do we tell the clients that we're controlling them? No, of course not. That's crazy. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying?
We just did, y'all.
We did, but we just gave you some tips and techniques that we use. But at the end of the day, we know what's going on. All we gotta do is keep you on board. Make sure you understand. Okay, look, I'm in the driver's seat, but you on the passenger side, front seat. You're not in the back seat, and you're not in the trunk. Since you're on the passenger seat, okay, if I tell you, well, we gotta make a right up here on Main. Why we gotta go right on Main? Because if we go right on Main, we can hit 17th, and the spot where we're going to is right on the left hand side. Versus taking a left on 7th and then coming all the way back down to Main to get to where we need to go. What we're here to do is just to guide you to the quickest and most efficient way to get to the end, which is the closing.
So when you talk, a great point that you made there is it's about relationship, right? So you know what I'm saying? Essentially, if you have a strong relationship with them, you can kind of take a little bit of
I was wondering where you was going with that. Cause you said it's about relationship. I said
it's about relationship.
Oh, okay.
Because you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, if you have that solid relationship, like you got a solid relationship with Mark, if he calls you on a Saturday morning and cuss you out, because y'all have that relationship there and that foundation there, you know what I'm saying, you don't take offense to it. You're like, okay, look, that's just the relationship that we have.
But I will say this, but this is what I will say, is I don't think he has a deep relationship with Mark, okay? But because he's worked with him multiple times, okay? Is I don't think that you have to be in this deep relationship per se, you know, because like myself, I call myself a real estate chameleon. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just got to match to what's going on in the process, right? Mirror and matching. Or even sometimes I'm like the real estate wazé.
Oh my
you know,
I'm not.
I'm throwing him out there.
I'm not calling Mark at Saturday on the morning saying, "Man, fuck you, Mark."
But this is why I say that. This is why I say that, because right, you know, is everybody has a different route to getting there. Okay. And some people tell you who they, you know, I love that saying that people tell you who they are, believe them, right? People tell you who they are the first time you meet them. So a lot of times when I'm having a consult with somebody, I usually, in that first conversation, if not that first one, the second one for sure, I know the type of client that I have, right?
Right.
And so, you asked the philosopher, hey, when would you, by that second conversation, I should know the type of client that I'm working with, right? At that point in time, you got to start making adjustments. And most of it is as simple as the philosopher said. In regards to it's simple in regards to this is I need to communicate to you in the way that is easy for you to understand. That's a lot of times what the misunderstanding is. If you're talking to me in Chinese, I need to start breaking out in Chinese. If you're talking to me in Spanish,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to talk to you in Spanish because the reality of it is if I don't, then they're trying to keep control because they don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. And at some point, it clicks for them too. At some point, it clicks over, oh, they know what they talking about. All right. You know what I mean? I don't need to be, and they still might, I have clients now that still will bring up some, like we'll be in the middle of a negotiation. My cousin said that we were supposed to get a warranty. Okay, I can understand where your cousin coming from because they might have got one on theirs, but that's a negotiable piece.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Are you willing to lose this deal over the warranty? Because if someone comes in at the same time that we come in and they don't have a warranty and you have a warranty, you might lose that deal for a couple $100. Is that okay with? So you see, so I'm going to put it back in their plate so that they understand exactly what they're getting.
Right.
Regardless. But that's kind of my thought in regards to,
Real talk takeaways. Real talk takeaways. All right. We back. Real talk takeaways. What you got? What you got, philosopher? Real talk takeaway.
When it comes down to, I know the topic of the series is controlling the client, and it does have a rough negative connotation. It's just something that makes you help you understand that as professionals, we're here to help you. We understand what needs to be done and how it needs to be done to get you where you want to be. And in order to do so, we need you to understand that we're here to help you. We're here to take care of you. There has to be a level of trust. If you don't trust what we're doing, just ask them the question. We'll go over everything that you need to be to get you in that place. But at the end of the day, when we're doing this, we do have to control what happens and how it goes to protect you in more ways than one.
Closer. Or the Rick James. Rick James of real estate. Freak that thing out, man.
What's the chameleon?
The real estate chameleon. Eh? What's your real talk takeaway?
My takeaway would be if you was to buy a plane ticket to go from one city to another city, you're not going to sit down in the plane chair and then halfway through or in the beginning walk up to the air pilot cabin and knock on the door and say, hey, let me show you the right directions to get over to California or whatever that other city is, right? And so you got to think of real estate kind of that way. Is you've hired somebody to fly you to the end of the road, which is you getting your tickets or getting your keys and moving into your house. You wouldn't hire anybody else but a professional. And if I'm flying on any brand, right, I got to trust that pilot has done what they're supposed to do in education and everything else to know where they're going. That's the same thing in real estate. When you hire a real estate agent, that real estate agent has spent the time and effort to educate themselves, to do what it takes to make sure they know the process from start to finish. And it's your job as a consumer to give them that opportunity to help make this process easier for you. That's all. Just allow us to do what we do.
There you go. Trust the person that you're working with. I 100% get that. I think this is a topic that can go on and on. I think it won't change. I think forever people are going to always feel like I need to make sure that I'm getting the best deal for me, and that I'm not leaving anything on the table, or I'm not being screwed over on something that I should be getting or is not getting. I think it's a consistent topic. I think it'll always be kind of an issue thing. I think an agent can do absolutely everything right, or a real estate professional could do absolutely everything right. But I think it just boils down to the actual client themselves. Outside of that, we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Make sure y'all check us in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, give us some feedback, comment. We always looking to try to touch on topics that
Don't forget to tell them, let us know what they want us to talk about.
Let us know
if it's real estate related.
Exactly. If it's real estate related, let us know what y'all want us to talk about. Or if y'all want us to talk about real. We had a sports conversation earlier on the Facebook Live.
Yeah,
we were talking real issues. Man, just talk to us. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. We won't be afraid to kind of talk a little bit about anything that you want to talk about to kind of further the discussion. Get you guys included in the discussion on a live.
Yes.
Outside of that, we'll catch y'all guys on the next one. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Later.